Hello there, my name's Gary, welcome to my channel and welcome back if you've been here before. Today we'll be looking at how to make the 1/48 scale ICM kit of the OV-10A Bronco. Now if you are just thinking of buying the kit and you want to know what's inside the box, the companion video to this is the one for you. If you want to see how you make it because you've already got one or there's one on the way, this is the video you want. Or you can watch the combo video with bonus historical details that will be released tomorrow. Now if you enjoy the video, please do remember to make sure you subscribe if you haven't done so already. You can do that through clicking on the logo there in the bottom right corner. You can also support future projects by going to Patreon or Buy Me a Coffee. Links to both of those are in the information box below. Now let's get on then and I'll show you how I made my OV-10 Bronco. As usual, we start with the seats. The cushion goes into the base of the seat like so. Then on the back of the seat there's the back cushion that slots in here. Then the headrest that sits at the top. The two parts of the seat simply fit together like this. There is a small initiator handle up here that goes in and sits just like so. With the seat assembled, the bulk of it is painted in dark gold grey. The headrest is painted in leather and the rear and bottom cushions are in black. The initiator handle is painted yellow. Next, the back rail is fitted to the riser. This slots onto the rear support for the seat. Then the seat fits in front. The first seat can then go into the cockpit section. A side console goes on either side like this. Then the control stick support goes in between them. A throttle quadrant goes in on the port side. Then the control column can go onto the support. Onto the intermediate bulkhead, and beneath this are two rudder pedals joined together by this linkage. Goodness only knows when I'll ever see these again. Then there's this tiny lever for something. That all gets painted and the intermediate bulkhead can be set in place. You can use the front side panel to set the angle correctly. While that's all drying, I'll put the decals onto the instrument panels. First for the pilot in the front, then a smaller one for the weapons officer in the back. Oddly, there are also decals for the seats. These were very fiddly to do. The decals are very thin and delicate and don't seem to flow very well over the surface. Got there in the end though. We make the front seat as before, this time with a different riser and support. The support goes onto this panel first, then the riser is attached. These spiky arms support the interior of the canopy frame later on. Then the seat can go onto the riser and the whole assembly can slot into the cockpit. And when that's in place, I'll add the rear instrument panel. Returning to the front, I'm adding the control stick support first, followed by the rudder pedals. Then the control column itself goes on. Making the front tub of the cockpit now, these walls go in at this point. The instructions say to add the nose gear door actuators at this point. This is a very delicate part, as we'll see. So take the whole thing off the sprue first and then cut off with a craft knife. The rear of the nose gear bay is put together now. First those door actuators, then this hydraulic pipe, then this air pipe. Glue it all together and paint when dry. In the meantime, I can put these consoles in the forward cockpit. There are two really tiny bobbly things that go in. Maybe they're sort of lamps of some kind, I don't know. Then some instrument bodies go onto the front coaming of the cockpit and the instrument panel fits inside. I'll touch up all the paint in a moment. I've painted the side consoles black and I'll dry brush with some white to create a look of detail. At the back of the cockpit are some electronics boxes. Then I can slot the forward instrument block into the cockpit and we're done for the moment. Let it all set fully. In the meantime, I can prepare the interior walls of the fuselage. Here they get a wash on top of the dark gold grey. There's a matte box to go in, plus a few random instruments. They will get a bit of black paint. Then the cockpit is ready to be assembled. It just slots into one side of the fuselage, the two halves are joined, and that's it. Simple and very well fitting. And when they're taped together, I can add the two canopy supports. Onto the bottom of the nose, and these gear doors go on. This is a good time to consider nose weight. You'll need about 10 grams. You may notice that the nose door actuators have already broken off, but it doesn't matter. There's a spare supplied with the kit. Anyway, then we put the nose gear in between the doors, but don't glue it at first. This actuator arm goes on the back first of all to set the correct angle, and when that's in place, you can dab some glue on the main gear leg itself. Then the bottom of the fuselage can slide into place. I'm taping it up first, then running some ultra thin glue along the edge to set it. Now while that's drying, I'll make the weapon sponsons. First place this mounting plate inside. This holds the machine guns later. Then the top skin goes on, followed by an end plate and a top cover for the guns. Simply repeat with the other side. Now I've got two lots of stuff drying for the moment, so I'll make a start on the wings. The first thing to do are these support structures on either side. These will place the flaps later on. Then the bottom skins of the wing can go on. There are 4 pieces of that. Tape it all up to dry. Now you can start on the flaps by joining the main flap bodies together. Then there is the smaller fore flap. You can see how it sits in place when the flap is retracted. Then as it's deployed, it helps guide air over the mid flap. This is why it's a pity that these double slotted flaps can't be deployed on the kit. They would look awesome. Anyway, the fore flap gets glued in place, and then I can assemble the wing. Aileron first, then the 4 flap sections, then the other aileron. And while that's all setting, I can add these small ventilation flaps to the engines, and then this radio antenna dome. Okay, back to the fuselage, and I can fit the weapon sponsons in place first, then I can attach the wing. Now I'm going to start masking the canopy now. I did this bit by bit with tape, but I really should have used the template in the instructions. I suspect it would have been so much easier. Anyway, I'll put the windshield in first with contactor clear and let that dry. Now for the main undercarriage. First, this trailing arm sits into the main leg without gluing and is clamped into place with this smaller part. The 2 parts of the actuator system go together like this. The actuator hooks into the main leg this way and is held in place with the other half of the top yoke. And finally, the actuator attaches to the trailing arm and it can all be set in place with glue. Then the leg goes into the gear housing like this. And the gear door actuators go in next, followed by this box. Then there is a tiny rod that goes into one wall of the gear bay, I know not why. Then the gear bay itself can be assembled. There are 2 side walls and an end wall. Finally, there's a roof for the bay as well. The whole thing goes into one half of one of the tail booms, then the other half fits on. For the front of the engine, there's a propeller shaft that pokes through the front and is secured by a small ring. Be careful how you glue these together if you want the props to turn later on. Then the front of the engine compartment could go onto the boom. There's also a floor piece that fits in now. The exhaust for the engine comes in two halves. Simply glue them together. On this boom there's a cooler inlet and the exhaust on the same side. Then I make the rudder. This predictably comes in two halves, and when they're glued together they slot into the tail end of the boom. So that's one boom made. All we have to do now is repeat for the other side. The tailplane comes in two halves, and a one-piece elevator slots into the back. Now when all's ready, the tail booms can slot into the underside of the wings, and when they're taped securely into place, the tailplane can be eased into position. Now at last it looks like a Bronco. At the front I'm going to add the rest of the canopy pieces. Careful use of contactor clear or, of course, your chosen canopy glue. That takes a while to dry, so I'm going to start on the weapons. First is the LAU-68 rocket pod. This comes in two halves, clamped together and set with ultra thin. There are two end pieces, one with the rocket noses and one the exhausts. For the Mark 81 bombs, the casing again comes in two halves. Now I'm making the snake eye tail, and this comes in pieces which are very fiddly to put together. I settled on fitting the two halves of the fins together first, then attaching these to the casing, then finally placing these tiny fillets to make it all complete. I've also chosen to use the daisy cutter extended fuse rods. I'll also take the time to make the tyres now. Of course, two halves for each one. Just clamp them up and use ultra thin to set. Well, it's time to make a start on the paint job now, and the underside gets a coat or two of sky grey. Then there's plenty of masking, and the upper side dark green can go on. Now I'm going to make it look a bit patchy, as if the tropics have been at it for a while. Once it's dry, I'll start putting on some of the decals as well. With that all done, I'll make a start on the nose gear. First, the front linkage goes on, followed by the trail arm. With the tyres set and painted rubber black, I can slot the hubs inside and set with a spot of glue. The main wheels go onto the legs with the brake bodies at the rear. On the sponsons, there are clasps for the stores that need to go in now. Now with the rocket pack, I've painted it all, and there's just this single tiny rocket head to go into place in the very centre. It makes it a lot easier to paint. Very thoughtful piece of design. So now I'm going to go around the plane putting in all the tiny things that would have been lost had I done them earlier. These things look like stays for the external fuel tank where it's to be carried, plus a pylon. Then a cover for the nose gear actuator and a radio aerial. Then the machine guns can go into the front of the sponsons, two on each side. The longer barrel goes on the outside. Then the stores go on, the rocket pods on the outside and the bombs on the inside. The propellers are assembled next. The blades are painted black with decals for the tips. They go onto a back plate and then the spinner sits on top. Then they can go into place on the front of the engines. Quick go around touching up the paint and the model's complete. Do you know, I'm pretty happy with it, to be honest. I did rush it to meet my production deadline, so there are a few things I probably would have done better. I strongly recommend patience when you build yours. The fit and finish of the parts is very good indeed, and there's more than enough detail there to keep you busy for days. The decals could have been better. They were very thin, a bit like the ones you get in sword kits if you know them. But generally speaking, an excellent kit that I recommend thoroughly. There we go. What a wonderful kit that is. I'm sure many of you, if you haven't already got one, will be wanting to get that ICM 1/48 OV-10A Bronco. Thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, then please do remember to subscribe to the channel. The link to do that is in the bottom right hand corner there. And you might also want to check out the combo build and box opening video that has bonus historical content available on this channel too. Until next time, happy modelling, and I'll see you later.